Rastafarian community in Ghana, mostly at certain point in time, I take Ghana by storm. Yebekai Achimota school, young man, okase only Rasta no, but still na Odibura Achimota school. Beye in the Republic of Ghana, and a Blakk Rasta and so, one of the Rastafarian community journalists or a national commentator. Wakasa ma pempenso bi Parliament of Ghana kra invited and say Nsem na no keka form on be chirichiri in Parliament. But this time nipa Blakk Rasta ede na no eskusi so Honorable Kennedy Agyapong, one of the leading flag bearer race members of the new Patriotic Party. Now lawyer Paul Adam Ochre, I say he was stunned based on Nsem-Pii Blakk Rasta a kafa Honorable Kennedy Agyapong. No yedi ano ye kum no tie yenkodi nkutie Nsem-Pii Blakk Rasta a kafa Honorable Kennedy Agyapong and the race now to become flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party.
30 minutes past 10 o'clock, so it's half an hour more for us to go. 2 hours come so quickly, doesn't it? All right. Kennedy Agyapong's story, how do we start? So he's taking the fire out of the story because he put up a letter that indicated that the most critical thing that he said his party people, he made derogatory comments about his party people. And he said that he didn't say that. I don't know whether he said it and that he's beating a retreat. If he said it and he's beating a retreat, it's still good for his friends in the party. If he didn't say it, it's still good. So we're going to look at the statement that he published. That's the statement shown on the screen. But my guy, Blakk Rasta, I call him friends today, enemies tomorrow. You know, when we were in primary school, when we were playing football at Nicholson Stadium in Birmingham, we used to sing a certain song to cheer the footballers, you know. I didn't know how to play football, so I wasn't in the team of 11, but I know how to talk football, so I was part of the commentators. And the musicians will sing friends today, enemies tomorrow, tomorrow morning friends today. And then Garrison will score. Once we start singing that song, we score. So that's the relationship I have with Blakk Rasta. Friends today, enemies tomorrow. So I'm always listening to Blakk Rasta at mid-morning. And these days, he takes me a little bit away from Doreen Ando's program on Joy FM. I like listening. He's jumping and bumping in his chair, Blakk Rasta. I like the guy. This is what he said about Kennedy Agyapong. I listened to it quietly. And I thought, Blakk Rasta, it looks like sometimes he says something. Sometimes Blakk Rasta says something. Have a look at this.
Here to have been done on a Ghanaian radio station in the US. The Asim North MP is heard angrily lamenting that the 2024 election will likely be a nodding affair following the election of former President Mahama as the NDC's candidate and the potential election of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the MPP's candidate. Mahama is a Northerner. Ayerga, that's Mahama Ayerga, is a Northerner. And assuming Bawumia wins, he is also a Northerner. So in the face of Ghana politics, should it be only Northerners? Hey, what is this? Kennedy Agyapong stated angrily. He continued, assuming the vice president becomes the flag bearer, are you saying it should be only Northerners? The party must watch this unfairness. Kennedy Agyapong also had issues with Northerners for backing Dr. Bawumia and urged Akans not to also back the vice president. Northerners say when a Northerner is not allowed to be the flag bearer, they won't vote. If that is so, then Ashanti should also say that if an Akan is not elected, they won't vote, he said. Kennedy Agyapong placed a distant second behind Vice President Bawumia in last month's MPP Superdelegates Conference to select 5 out of 10 aspirants for the main flag bearership election next month. Dr. Bawumia won over 2/3 of the vote to win the Superdelegates election, and political analysts have tipped him to win November's election. If he wins, Dr. Bawumia would become the first Northern politician to ever lead the MPP to a general election as its flag bearer in the Fourth Republic, as well as in the NPP's UP's tradition. It is not known when the interview was conducted, but the video has been shared multiple times on social media. So this is the man who wants to be your president, so tribalistic, so dirty. Can you hear him? He says Northerners are saying that they will not support an Akan flag bearer. And for that matter, he is urging Akans to also come out and say that they will not support a Northern flag bearer. Such childishness. And this is the guy who wants to be president. Such a joke, such a headless jack. So this is what you're going to take to the presidency. Of course, it is wrong to do tribal politics, but as a wise man who wants to be the father of the nation, we don't want a stupid man, a foolish man to be the father of the nation. Do you want a stupid man to be the father of the nation? Do you want a stupid, foolish president? Nobody wants a stupid president. Everybody wants a president who has common sense. So if common sense should work in this case, you know what Kennedy Agyapong should have said? It is wrong to say that Northerners will not support an Akan flag bearer. If you do that, then we are doing tribal politics. If all other ethnic groups decide that they are only going to support people from their ethnic background, then we are doing nothing but tribal politics. We are no longer looking at the content of the character, the content of the ability of the candidate, but labels. And labels are very dangerous. Listen, if everybody says, I am only going to support a candidate who comes from my ethnic background, then we are no longer looking at the brain, we are looking at labels. And that is dangerous. That is the tangent Kennedy Agyapong should have gone. Not to say that Akans should also run away from supporting Northerners. This is not the first time Kennedy Agyapong is saying this. It's not also the third time. We all remember when Kennedy Agyapong said that if ever people in the Volta region were attacking Asantes and some other such ethnic groups, then in the Ashanti region, he was urging them to also pick up long sticks, iron rods, and stones and beat up other people. He's always preaching violence. Remember when he also talked about Ahmed Swale, that boy who comes here, he's a criminal. If you see him in my premises, you know what you should do? Beat him up.
Friends today, enemies tomorrow. Those the views that were expressed in the video by Blakk Rasta are his views. They are by no means our views. We do not necessarily share the opinions that he expressed about Kennedy Agyapong. We just show the video because it has become a matter of public interest. Okay, still on the Kennedy Agyapong story. Now he's been quarreling with a man called Wontumi, one of the members I love most in Ashanti region. And this weekend I'll be in Kumasi, so I probably will look for Chairman Wontumi, and then we have Fufu and Akrantie, the lovely guy. Wontumi's company, with or without political talk, is just interesting. You love him. So I'll be in Kumasi. I'll look for him. I know where to find him when I'm in Kumasi. I'll just call Andy and tell him that I'm about na Chairman. You say, waba, I'm friend Chairman. Then you call me and say, now what fan? And I'll tell him who I am and say, Chairman Sibra. Then I have a chat with Andy like that. So I'll be in Kumasi this weekend. I'll look for Wontumi. Wontumi had admitted to me earlier that Kennedy is his big brother. He had, in an interview conducted in Kumasi on the 26th of August this year.
The time I was coming, I told him he would be second. She would have looked for the running mate. The time I was coming. Here.
Today.
You
spoke to Kennedy today?
Today, of course. He's my brother.
Oh, you spoke to Kennedy Agyapong today?
Yes, of course.
And you told him that what?
I told him he would be second. And to me, he's my brother. And I always will say the truth. He would have looked for a running mate.
He should have looked for running mate.
Running mate because Bawumia will beat him.
Is it too late?
You said...
Is it too late?
Now, it's not only about Kennedy, it's about the people who is involved.
He said Kennedy is his brother, didn't he? He says Kennedy is my brother. Kennedy is my brother. That's what he said. Kennedy is his brother. But so Kennedy spoke very bitterly about Chairman Wontumi, about Dr. Bawumia, about the party MPP. He even made some very wild, derogatory remarks. A lot of it, I'm sure that he's not able to prove it. But he made those remarks. And he's also my man. Kennedy's my man. You know. I'll tell you a short story about my relationship with Kennedy just before I... Kuku, they asked me to look for the photograph of B.A. Mensah. So see whether you still have it. If you have it, just put it up on the TV. I'm going to do this sitting and then I'll go on this touch screen and read Kennedy's letter. So I'm telling you a story. This is a story of 2005. I was not yet married. And... Wafa B.A. Mensah, as we call him, is a man that we had read about. And because of the exploits of his son, Herbert Mensah at Asante Kotoko, the name B.A. Mensah had been re-echoed to the younger generation. B.A. is of the 60s, he's an industrialist of the 60s and the 70s, extremely successful businessman. He was ahead of his time. He understood how to make business. He sold cigarettes. He sold all kinds of things. And he developed many things. He competed with international companies and was successful in beating international companies with the help of his sons, Herbert, and his other son, what's the name? The banker. I can't remember now. It'll come. You know, Bernard. Herbert and Bernard Mensah. So Bernard is still very successful globally as a banker. I mean, there are top 10 bankers globally. Bernard Mensah will be one of them. I won't tell you where he works. You can Google Bernard Mensah from Ghana and you see it. And Herbert Mensah, we all know. So B.A. Mensah had been idolized and was an iconic name and figure. So in 2005, it's a sad story for me, I have to say, viewers, very sad. Because the one who called me on this matter was J.B. Dankwa Edu, who was one of B.A.'s proteges, and he actually stayed with B.A. for many years and worked with him. So J.B. Dankwa called me, I think it was sometime around July, because it was raining. And he said to me that, Papa would like to see you. And I said, in those days, we used to call President Kufuor also Papa. Those who were close to Kufuor called him Papa. I wasn't one of those who can call him Papa. I just call him Mr. President. But JB was one of those who can call President Kufuor Papa. So he said, Papa would like to see you. And I said, at the castle. He said, no, I don't mean President Kufuor. I mean B.A. Mensah. I said, oh, for B.A. Mensah, what's the matter? He says, you come to the house. You know the house? I said, oh, yeah, but Mensah has come there with me before, so I know the house. So I went to the house at the Airport Residential area. He was sitting upstairs, so I climbed with him. I had met him on international travel to London a few times, and we had spoken, and I had idolized him, greeted him, and told him how I admire him, and he would smile. So when I went to see him, he was in like a lounge upstairs in his house, and he was walking. So I said, Wafa, now, last time I was on the flight with you to London, when we got to London, you were wheelchaired away, so I thought that you were not well. He said, oh, no, you can also ask me, I'm old. How old are you? I mentioned he sort of smiled. He said, oh, no, I'm fine. There's no problem. And then JB said, okay, so he's here. He said, do you know what I want to do? I want you to do. I said, no. He said, how are you? I said, fine. He said, hi, it's good evening, Ghana. I said, I've been watching your program. I said, oh, thank you. Then he mentioned 2 or 3 programs that he had watched and laughed about it and all that. Then he said, I'm turning 80 years, you see. I said, oh, great. I want you to be the MC of my party. I said, oh, wow. I'm delighted. I'm completely delighted and overwhelmed. He said, yeah, I've been watching you. I've been watching the things you do. The people who are coming to my party are your people. They are politicians. So I want you to MC, welcome them, give them a good time, tell them great stories. Some of the stories I'll tell you, and then you tell them about my life. I hope that you can do it. I said, oh, I'm more than delighted to do it. So we started the arrangement. So come the D-Day, B.A. Mensah had that's for B.A. Mensah. Thank you very much. That's B.A. Mensah. May he rest in eternal peace. B.A. Mensah was a famous Ghanaian industrialist, and of his kind, we don't have any yet. I'm hoping that the young generation will give us 20 B.A. Mensahs so that Ghana will be great again. B.A. Mensah was very, very, very great. That's the man who gave birth to Bernard Mensah, the globally acclaimed international banker, and Herbert Mensah, the football administrator par excellence. That's B.A. Mensah. So then the day came, and the event was starting at 7 o'clock. So I got there at about 5:30, and I was observing the preparations. At about a few minutes past 7, I saw the confident body of Wontumi straddling into the ground and was checking, looking around. And so I approached him. I said, Wontumi, hey, no, I said, I'm the MC for the event. He said, oh yeah, they told me you're the MC for the event. And I wouldn't remember Nsem-Pii. I said, oh, I won't say any Nsem-Pii. Wontumi is such an exciting and interesting man. I said, I'm not going to say any Nsem-Pii. I looked at me and said, nah, today we had our best. I said, oh, no. When it's time, I'll go and dress up. My suit is in there. He said, okay. I said, President Kufuor is coming. Do I know? I said, yes, I've been told. He said, okay, so he's here to make sure that everything is fine. So where will President sit? Then the people took him around, the ushers, they sorted everything out. Okay. Then guests started arriving. I dressed up, guests started arriving. And I remember also, one of the early guests to arrive was Mr. Edward Akufo-Addo, the president's brother, current president. At that time, he was foreign minister, as he then was. So he came in and I approached, he said, oh, Paul, how are you here? I said, yeah, I'm here. Edward is a very distinguished British man. Yeah. I said, yeah, I'm here. I said, is the foreign minister coming? He said, well, he's giving dinner to some diplomats in his house at East Legon. I am anticipating that, he looked at his watch, I'm anticipating that he'll be here around 8:15. Does he have a role on your list? I said, yes, he has a role to say something about B.A. Mensah. I said, but when is that happening? I said, that happens after dinner. He said, oh, he'll be here. I think he'll come around 8:15. He's giving dinner to some diplomats. So I let him to sit, he sat down. And then came Kennedy Agyapong. Now this is the story I'm telling you, viewers. This is the story. So Kennedy Agyapong, I've never seen him like that before. And I know of him, but I've never seen him like that before. So he walked in, and I walked up to him, and I said, Kennedy. He said, hey, Abrante. Now, Ube MC, and I said, and he laughed. I said, oh, yeah, be sure program, I said, yeah, me to admire you, bless you. He said, listen. I have something for you. I said, something? He said, yes, I have something for you. I was in America when I was in a shop, and I saw a bottle green suit. He didn't know me. We never met. He said, I was in America, and I saw a bottle green suit. And I looked at the suit, and I said, this is you. He didn't know me. I mean, he knows of me, but we had never met. He said, I think this is you. I said, wow. He said, yes, so I have the suit for you. But it's in my house in Tema. So this was the party, I think, was a Wednesday or so. It was a weekday. Proper weekday. It wasn't a Saturday. I think it was a proper weekday, Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. He said, tomorrow, call me. So I took his number. And come to Tema, let me give you the suit, because I bought that suit for you. And I was overwhelmed. I said, oh, wow, Kennedy Agyapong. I said, actually, Kennedy said, he bought me a suit. He said, I do know him. I said, no, I don't. He saw me. He said, I've been watching you. I see the suit. I know that you like. I said, open life, pa. I'm sure open life, pa. So the next day, I went to Tema, to his house. And I drove on the motor. I think it was in Committee 12. And I went to the house. I think it's a house that he didn't used to live there often. So he couldn't even find the key because the person living in the house was not there. He made some phone calls, we waited, and then the person came, got me the suit. I kept that suit for a very, very long time. I think I still have it. It's a bottle green suit, single-breasted, beautiful suit. It fit me, pepe. So that's my relationship with him. Great guy, fantastic guy. And I also said to you, to the people on the social media in the flyer that Kennedy Agyapong is a very reasonable man. I'll tell you why. That's a very sensitive story. It's a very, very reasonable man. We had conducted an interview here on Good Evening Ghana recently. Kennedy had said certain things in the interview. Post-interview, post-production, we had put the videos out on social media. A very, very important person called me and said, listen, I watched your interview with Kennedy. I think that it requires some corrections of some of the things he said. And I said, wow. This is getting very touchy and sensitive. Really? He said, yes. I think he should correct a few things he said that were not completely accurate. I said, but Kennedy is going to challenge it. He's going to say that what he said was accurate. He said, well, that's why I'm calling you, to see how you can manage this. So I went to another important person and told him that Chief, this other important person says that I should do some changes or discuss with Kennedy about some narrative. I'm not sure how to approach Kennedy on this matter because he's going to get angry. The way he is, he can get angry at any time. I don't know how to approach him. So this other very important person said, okay, I'll talk to him. What is it about? So I told him that the man says that. He said, wow,